Have you ever felt like you're trying your hardest in silence, pushing through every day, yet no one sees it? You wake up early, fight off laziness, self-doubt, disappointment, and still, there's no applause, no recognition. Just you, alone with your thoughts, quietly wondering, is it even worth it? The answer is yes. But only if you understand one thing: real strength doesn't make noise. The strongest people are not the loudest. They are the ones who push their limits in silence, who show up without the need to be seen. They live by a philosophy that's over 2,000 years old, Stoicism, a way of life that teaches discipline, emotional control, and power from within. This video is for you, the one fighting silent battles. If you're tired, questioning yourself, or feeling invisible, stay. Because in that silence, you'll find something stronger than motivation. You'll find clarity. You'll find grit. And in time, your results will speak so loudly, you won't need to say a word. Number 1. Silence keeps you focused. A friend of mine once declared with excitement, "I'm going to wake up at 5 a.m. every day, work out, read, study investing, and meditate for 15 minutes. He told all his friends and posted it on Facebook like a public contract. The first week went great. The second week, he vanished. A month later, the goal was never mentioned again. No one asked, no one blamed him, but he felt like a failure. Not because he couldn't do it, but because he spoke too soon, too loudly, and with too much certainty. This is what Stoicism calls a trap of the ego, mistaking words for action. The mind, once placed in front of an audience, easily veers off course. Every time you share your goal, it creates a detour. Every compliment becomes a rest stop. Every doubt, a stone in your path. When you tell others you're learning to become an investor, you trick yourself into feeling like you already are one. You're no longer becoming. You've arrived prematurely. A study by Peter Gollwitzer at New York University showed that publicly announcing your goals actually makes you less likely to achieve them. Why? Because your brain gets an early dopamine hit just from saying it. No effort required. Imagine you're building a house in the woods. If you run out every time you lay a single brick just to tell the world, you'll never finish the foundation. But if you keep going, brick by brick, day by day, then one morning you'll be standing on your porch, and the house itself will say everything that needs to be said. In everyday life, maybe you want to eat healthier, get serious about the gym, and improve your physique. The first thing many people do, post day 1 on their story. A week later, more mirror selfies. But then what? The belly hasn't changed, because the mind is busy living in the eyes of others instead of focusing on real effort. You need a new rule. No posts about your journey for the first 30 days. No sharing, no showing off. Just record it, for yourself, in a small notebook, by hand. Every day, one line. Did it. No explanation. No proof needed for anyone but you. Have you ever stopped to ask, are you living for real results, or just for the appearance of trying? Are you taking real action, or just replaying the idea of action to comfort yourself? When you answer these questions honestly, one truth becomes clear: silence is a shield against distraction. It keeps your energy focused where it matters, instead of scattering it into the crowd. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Don't waste what's left of your life in speculating about others, unless with a view to some mutual benefit." That line holds a deeper principle. Don't waste your life performing, explaining, or seeking approval, unless it truly creates value. Speak less, act more. Explain less, understand more. Each morning, before your day begins, write down one thing you'll do to move closer to your goal, but tell no one. At the end of the day, ask just one question: did I do it? If not, that's okay. Tomorrow is another chance. But still, keep quiet. This small habit locks your lips and unlocks your will. No grand gestures, just steady resolve. Along the way, you'll feel lonely. No applause. No one knows the effort you're putting in. But that loneliness is the fire that forges your will. Can you keep going even when no one is watching? Do you want the result itself, or just the recognition? Because once you learn the power of staying silent, you'll realize something even deeper. You don't need anyone to validate your path. The only thing that matters is doing the work. Number 2, no need for recognition. There's a strange truth that few people admit. Many don't do things to get them done. They do them to be praised. They clean the house and wait for a thank you. They help others and secretly hope for a shout-out on someone's story. They learn a new skill, but quickly give up when no one says, "Wow." It's not that they're lazy or lack willpower. They're just not used to doing things without being seen. So when there's no audience, they lose motivation. But if you want to go far, you have to keep moving, even when no one's watching. Recognition is like refined sugar, sweet, addictive, but not truly nourishing. When you do something well and get praised, it feels good. But then what? You start chasing that feeling. You begin doing things for reactions, not reasons. You stop writing because you love words and start writing for likes. You stop learning out of curiosity and start learning to show off certificates. Little by little, you become a performer, only on when there's an audience. You see this in people like Amelia Earhart, the first woman to fly solo across the Atlantic. She didn't promote herself or make a spectacle. She simply flew, and that act, quiet and unannounced, carved her name into history. Or Grigory Perelman, the Russian mathematician who solved the Poincaré conjecture, one of the toughest problems of the century. The world showered him with awards. He declined them all. No money, no fame, no interviews, because he wasn't in it for recognition. He did it because the truth mattered. People like that don't need the spotlight. They are the light. And what about you? Think about it. How many things have you given up on just because no one noticed? How many goals have you delayed just because no one was cheering you on? If your motivation depends on others, you're handing over the steering wheel of your life. You've got to learn to pedal even when no one is clapping. It's hard. Doing things without praise is boring. But have you noticed? The most valuable things often happen in silence. Roots growing underground, water shaping stone drop by drop, mastery developing behind the scenes. Real transformation doesn't need a stage. That's why Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. Don't explain it. Don't perform it. Just live it." Here's a simple technique you can use right away. Every time you complete something, whether it's finishing a book, a gym session, or a new idea, don't post it. Don't tell anyone. Just sit down and write one sentence to yourself. I did it. That's it. That small act is like laying a brick in your inner wall. Do it often enough, and you'll build a fortress, invisible to others, unshakable within. Notice this. The quiet ones often have the strongest momentum. No noise, no complaints, no flash, but when they step up, everyone stops to watch, because their silence is their edge. When you no longer need validation, you become untouchable, not driven by applause, but grounded in purpose. And if any of this speaks to you, stick around. Subscribe to the channel. We won't promise applause, but we'll walk with you on the path of inner strength, step by step, thought by thought, action by quiet action. Don't just listen and forget. Next time you do something meaningful, try keeping it to yourself. See what happens when you no longer need to be seen and still move forward. That's Stoic. That's freedom. Number 3, progress is private. There's a kind of progress you can't capture in a selfie, can't write a caption for, can't hashtag. It happens when you stay calm in the face of an insult. When you put your phone down and give someone you love your full attention for 15 minutes. When you know you're angry, but you still speak gently. No applause, no likes, no medals, but these are real victories, and they always happen in silence. Have you noticed this? Every time you start something new, working out, eating better, learning a new skill, what's the first thing you often do? Tell someone, post something, take a photo. It's like we can't begin a journey unless someone else sees it, as if it doesn't count unless it's witnessed. But the truth is, what you keep to yourself is what truly becomes yours. A seed only grows quietly. Dig it up every day to show people, and it'll never take root. Let me tell you a story, because somewhere in it, you might see yourself. Michael, 38, used to be an Uber driver in San Diego. During the pandemic, he lost almost all of his income. No college degree, no side hustle. One day, after giving a ride to a software engineer, he got curious about coding. But Michael didn't tell anyone. He watched YouTube tutorials, downloaded free books, practiced on his beat-up old laptop. Mornings, he drove. Evenings, he studied. Weekends, he built mock projects. He didn't post a thing. No new journey announcements. No complaints. Almost a year later, he applied to a small startup and landed a junior developer job. The pay wasn't huge, but it tripled his old income. Everyone was shocked. They asked why he hadn't said anything. Michael just smiled and said, because I needed to learn, not perform. You can be Michael, but only if you're willing to give up one thing, the need to be seen. The paradox is, the more you crave recognition, the less energy you have to truly get good. The more you talk about your goals, the more you drain the drive to actually pursue them. Silence isn't hiding, it's preserving your energy for where it matters. Picture yourself pushing a car uphill. Every time you stop to check who's watching, you stop pushing, and so you stay stuck halfway. But if you just keep your head down and push, one day you'll reach the top, and when you look back, it won't be anyone else, but you who says, "I did it." Like the Bible says, "But when you give to the needy, do not let your left hand know what your right hand is doing." Do what's right, not to be noticed, but to become who you know you're meant to be. Now maybe you're thinking, "I get it, but why does it still feel so empty when no one sees my effort?" That's an honest question, and it's actually a sign you're on the right path. That emptiness isn't a flaw. It's the open space you need in order to grow, untouched by other people's expectations. And here's the beautiful part. Once you learn to persist quietly, something surprising happens. People start noticing, not because you told them, but because you changed. They'll ask, they'll be curious, and when they do, you'll smile and say, "I just did what I had to do." No fanfare, no show, just truth that carries weight. Still feel like complaining that you've worked so hard and no one noticed? Pause for a second, because complaining won't move you forward, and that's what you'll need to hear in the next part. Not for the philosophy, but because you can't take the next step if you keep circling back just to vent. Number 4, no complaints, just action. Some people open their eyes each morning and groan, "Another day." By noon, they grumble, "What should I eat? Every place is boring." Stuck in traffic after work, they snap, "Why can't this city ever get better?" And late at night, curled up in bed, they sigh, "I'm so tired of this." What kind of life is this? Day after day, they're trapped in a loop, not of actions, but of complaints. So what's the real issue? It's not that their life is terrible, it's that they've drained all their energy on complaining, like someone pouring water on fake grass, hoping it will grow. Complaining is an addictive reflex. Like scratching an itch, it feels good at the moment. But just as constant scratching turns a small wound into a sore, constant complaining eats away at your spirit. Have you noticed? People who complain a lot rarely take action. They use words in place of solutions. And strangely, the more they complain, the bigger their problems seem, as if their words are inflating them daily. Once, I was in an elevator when a girl stared at the floor display and muttered, "Why is this taking forever?" I checked. We'd been standing there for less than 20 seconds. If she'd spent those seconds taking a deep breath, stretching her shoulders, or just being still, she might have felt better. But instead, she reacted on autopilot. How often do you do the same thing? Curse traffic, moan about a slow computer, mutter about the heat. Do those complaints change anything? Stoicism teaches us one clear lesson. If something is out of your control, don't let it control you. Complaining is like sitting in a car honking the horn non-stop during a traffic jam. The horn gets louder, but the car doesn't move. You irritate everyone around you, and in the end, you're the one left exhausted. So why not let go of the horn, adjust the mirrors, check your route, or put on a good song? Every moment of frustration is a signal you're facing something beyond your control. And in those moments, you have two options: waste energy resisting it, or shift your focus to what you can do. Think back to the last time you complained about work. Did anything actually change? Did your boss get easier to deal with? Did your deadline magically extend? Or did you just end up feeling more powerless? It's an uncomfortable question, but a necessary one, because it opens another door. Instead of complaining, describe the issue neutrally, then take a specific step forward. For example, instead of saying, "I hate this task," ask, "How can I finish this faster?" Or, "What skill do I need so this stops being hard?" Pause for a moment, right now. Ask yourself, how many times have you complained in the past 24 hours? And how many were about things you can't change? That number doesn't just reflect your mood, it measures how much mental energy you've wasted. Every complaint is energy you didn't spend living, but spent whining. And remember, truly strong people aren't those who never get tired. They're the ones who stay silent and keep going. No complaints, no need to be seen, just them and the path ahead. Their silence isn't weakness, it's a choice. A choice to stop being a victim of circumstance. A decision that says, "I'm moving forward." No need to talk, just act. We're halfway through the journey of this video. If you're still here, it means you didn't take the easy way out. You chose to learn control instead of surrender. Ahead are the next Stoic principles, the missing pieces that complete your inner strength. Don't miss what's coming. The next part may be exactly what you need. Number 5. Control what you can. You wake up, check your phone, and see people checking in from the Maldives, launching startups, and flaunting sculpted bodies. Meanwhile, you're just making your first cup of coffee. The day hasn't even started, yet defeat already sneaks in. Why? Because you're trying to control someone else's game instead of playing your own. That's why you're exhausted and going nowhere. Stoic philosophy offers one of the most practical and blunt pieces of advice. Only worry about what's within your control. Not because it's the moral thing to do, but because it's the only way to live without suffering. Look around. How many things are stressing you out that aren't actually your fault? A boss's last-minute deadline, a client changing their mind, rain when you need sunshine. You can't control those, but you can control how you respond. A friend of mine once spent a whole week moping because his ex posted a photo with someone new. He stopped eating, quit working out, drifted through work like a zombie. I asked him a simple question: can you control who she loves? No. So why let her choices hijack your emotions? Some mornings you'll be stuck in traffic. One person is shouting, another is calmly listening to music. Same traffic, completely different inner worlds. The Stoics aren't telling you to be tough. They're telling you to be smart about where you place your attention. You can't move the clouds, but you can bring an umbrella. Epictetus once wrote, "Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control." Freedom isn't the absence of difficulty, it's refusing to be led by it. So tomorrow morning, instead of scrolling through 30 minutes of everyone else's life, spend that time writing down 3 things you'll do today, things no one else controls. Drink enough water. Finish 1 page of your plan. Exercise for 15 minutes. Small things, but they're yours. And when you finish them, you feel powerful, because you're steering the ship, not drifting in the current. Thomas Edison once lost his entire lab to a fire. When his son rushed over, Edison simply said, "Go get your mother and all her friends. They'll never see a fire like this again." He lost nearly all his research, but instead of mourning, he rebuilt, because he knew he couldn't control the fire, but he could control his resolve. And something interesting happens when you focus only on what's yours. You feel lighter, clearer, and often more effective, because you're not wasting energy on battles that don't belong to you. Like a rower who knows they can't control the river, so they master the oar. Try it today. Every time you feel tension rise, pause for 5 seconds and ask yourself, is this within my control? If it's not, let it go. If it is, act. Here's one last question for you. How much of your daily energy are you spending on things you can't control? Be honest. And if you want to change, start with the smallest things you can own. Quietly, steadily, repeatedly. But beware of the sneakiest trap waiting to undo your focus, the moment you glance at someone else and ask, "Why am I not there yet?" That's what pulls you off your path. And that brings us to the next lesson. Comparison is meaningless. But why? And how do you stop? Let's break it down next. Number 6, no comparison, just growth. We live in an age where comparison seeps into every corner of life, from appearance and career to seemingly harmless things like daily step counts. One glance at your phone and you're hit with people who seem more successful, more disciplined, and happier than you. But if your mind feels unsettled, maybe the issue isn't that you're not good enough, but that you're looking in the wrong direction. The real question is, are you living your own life, or racing in a competition you never signed up for? Stoicism doesn't ask us to stop striving. It teaches us to grow without needing to prove, to pursue progress without measuring it against others. Because comparison is a distorted mirror. It doesn't reflect truth. It warps your worth to fit someone else's standards. To understand this clearly, listen to a story worth remembering. Because maybe what you need isn't to move faster, but simply not to stop. Paul was an ordinary chef in New York, not well paid, not famous, but he had a quiet passion, sourdough bread. While his friends opened restaurants and got featured in top food blogs, Paul spent 3 years obsessing over fermentation, dough mixing, and oven temperatures. People laughed. Some said he was playing artisan in the age of machines. Paul didn't answer. He just kept going. Then one day, a post went viral. The best sourdough bread in Brooklyn. A picture of a loaf, burnished crust, cracked surface, airy like a cloud. The baker, Paul, the same guy who quietly tested batches at 3 a.m. He didn't run faster than anyone. He just stayed on his own path and kept moving. Paul's story isn't told to inspire. It's a slap in the face to the illusion that you have to know how far behind you are to get ahead. No, to grow, you only need to know where you were yesterday and take one step forward today. That's it. So next time you feel yourself slipping into the spiral of comparison, do something simple. Place your finger on your chest and quietly ask, whose life am I living today? If the answer isn't mine, then you know what to do. Pull your gaze back from the outside world and return home. One quick way to break the comparison loop is to create a deliberate silence. Each time you're about to scroll one more story to see what everyone else is up to, pause for 10 seconds. Not to meditate, just to ask, is this helping me live better? If the answer is no, put the phone down, drink a glass of water, read a page, write down a thought, do something that belongs to you. When you act instead of getting distracted, you're already winning, no validation needed. Another tool, a progress log. Each night before bed, don't write, "What did I do better than others?" Instead, ask, "How was I better than I was yesterday?" Maybe you worked out for 10 minutes, read one more page, or held your tongue when you wanted to lash out. These quiet wins don't get likes, but they build the strength that matters. Because once you stop getting pulled by the noise out there, you'll start hearing your own voice more clearly. A calm voice, not rushed, not loud, not performing, just you, your real self, with nothing to prove. Remember this, real results speak for themselves, not through noise, but through change. And if you can stop comparing, you'll start to see it more clearly. Your emotions no longer dragged by someone else's highlight reel. That's when you're ready for the next lesson. Number 7, master don't show emotions. There was a time I sat in a coffee shop, and at the next table, a couple was having a heated argument. The girl's eyes brimmed with tears, while the guy slammed his hand on the table so hard that even a waiter 3 tables away flinched. They didn't care who was watching, only about winning the fight. And I wondered, who's in control here? Are they steering their emotions, or are their emotions steering them? In this world, people often confuse expression with authenticity. Many believe that being real means saying everything, showing everything. But living authentically isn't about unloading every thought or emotion. It's about knowing what you're thinking, understanding what you're feeling, and choosing how to express it. It's like owning a speaker. Blasting it at full volume doesn't make the music better. Sometimes, turning it down makes people listen more closely. Emotional control doesn't mean suppression. It means knowing when and how to respond. A boss who always acts on emotion might lash out at staff in anger, then apologize once they've cooled down. A mother who constantly expresses her feelings might end up crying at the dinner table just because her child eats slowly. Those reactions aren't inherently wrong, but they surrender control of the situation. The Stoics weren't ruled by circumstances. They observed them. They responded with intention, and that's why they remained in command. Epictetus once wrote, "Keep your attention focused entirely on what is truly your own concern, and be clear that what belongs to others is their business and none of yours. Other people's emotions, that's their business. Life's chaos, just part of the world. But your emotions, your reactions, that's your domain. If you don't guard the gate to your emotions, who will? Think of a city bus driver during rush hour, facing traffic jams, grumpy passengers, constant honking. If he let every complaint or glare get to him, he'd probably make it to the third stop before breaking down. But no, he drives, steady, quiet. Just because others are angry doesn't mean he has to be. Just because someone is rude doesn't mean he has to stoop to their level. That's Stoic. Staying centered, staying on course. Here's the surprising truth. The more someone constantly expresses their emotions, the more vulnerable they become. When you show someone what makes you angry, you hand them the power. When your sadness is written all over your face, you expose a weakness. But when you hold back, not to hide it, but to observe it, understand it, master it, you become untouchable. People often believe that venting brings relief. But ask yourself, how many times have you yelled in anger only to feel ashamed afterward? Emotions aren't gas to be released. They're more like something valuable, wrapped carefully, needing to be opened slowly, like a precious gift. There's a line from the Bible that haunts me. Even fools are thought wise if they keep silent, and discerning if they hold their tongues. You don't always need to respond. Sometimes, silence is the greatest strength you have. If you want to practice this, start with one incredibly simple habit. Delay your reaction by 3 seconds. When someone irritates you, pause before speaking. In those 3 seconds, ask yourself, is this worth losing my calm over? 9 times out of 10, the answer will be no. And then you move on, still in control, still behind the wheel. Staying calm when life is easy is no challenge. Staying calm when you're insulted, misunderstood, or cornered, that's real mastery. Let calm become your personal trademark. No applause needed. No one has to notice. But you'll know, and you'll be proud. If this lesson feels worth remembering, hit like. Not for me, for yourself. As a promise, from now on, I won't react out of habit, but out of choice. That's real freedom. Number 8, let results talk. There's a kind of person who, when they walk into a room, doesn't need to make a sound. They don't talk much, but somehow, they get things done. It's not because they boast, it's because their results speak for themselves. Like a tree that never brags, yet when the season comes, it bears fruit so undeniable everyone has to look up. In an age where everyone rushes to showcase their process, posting a story after reading just a few pages, filming a workout after 3 days at the gym, choosing to stay silent and keep moving forward is both radical and powerful. Stoic philosophy doesn't tell you to live like a shadow, but it teaches one thing clearly: noise doesn't build outcomes. Epictetus once wrote, "Don't explain your philosophy, embody it. Live in a way that your actions are the proof of what you believe." Someone who does that doesn't need to say a word. Their results do the talking. The question is, are you living like that? Or are you using words to make up for the lack of action? Real life gives us endless examples. A skilled builder isn't the one who lectures about technique. He's the one whose wall stands straight when the bricks are laid. A devoted mother doesn't need praise, but a warm meal, dry clothes, and her child's peaceful sleep say everything. The problem is, most of us crave attention, approval, recognition, even before we've created anything worthy of it. We want applause before we've earned it. And that's exactly how energy gets wasted on what creates no value. Have you ever tried working silently for 6 months? No complaints, no updates, no explanations, just doing the work. Try it, then look back and see what changes. Most people are shocked to realize when you stop seeking validation, your focus sharpens. When you stop wasting energy explaining yourself, you can pour it fully into finishing what matters. Like an arrow, silent but precise. But this isn't easy. Our world runs on showing off. Social media turns every action into a performance. Every small step begs to be shared, to go viral, to be liked. But if you want real strength, build the habit of working in silence. Learn to create without the need to be seen. Think of Nikola Tesla, one of the greatest minds in history. He worked in near complete solitude. Few knew his name while he was alive. But today, the world can't function without his inventions. He didn't need a stage. His results earned him a place in history. Ask yourself, are you working to build something real, or just working to be seen as hard-working? When you let go of the need to be noticed, that's when you truly start to see yourself. So take a pause right now. You've read this far. Turn off your phone, look around the space you're in, and ask, if I worked in silence for 90 days, what part of my life would be transformed? If you often talk about your plans but rarely follow through, don't beat yourself up. Just start small. Pick one thing you want to improve: learning a language, writing, getting in shape, and set one rule. Don't tell anyone until the results are visible. No one needs to know what you're preparing for, but when you're ready, the world will take notice. Just like a blade forged in fire, quiet, unseen, but in battle, one strike is enough to command respect. Do you want to be remembered for your words, or the weight of your achievements? Choose, but if you choose results, then from today on, work in silence. Don't show off the seed, nurture it. When the time comes, your tree will bloom and everyone will see. No need to explain, no need to shout. The outcome will say it all. We've just walked through 8 core principles, not empty slogans, but guiding lights for those choosing the quiet path to growth. Each lesson is a gentle yet firm reminder. Act, don't show off. Persist, don't complain. Focus on what you can control and let the results speak for themselves. You don't need to force yourself to be inspirational. Just live true to your values. That alone inspires. The world is already loud enough. What it's missing are the calm, steady ones. The people who don't say much, but when they move, everyone notices. You don't have to shout that you're changing. Just start today. Live quieter, focus deeper, and take charge of yourself. The long road isn't for the noisy. It's for those who endure in silence. If something in this message shifted your perspective or made you feel a bit more grounded, leave a comment below. I'd love to know where you are on your journey. And if you're ready to keep exploring how to live with depth, reason, and quiet strength, subscribe to the channel. The road ahead isn't easy, but you won't be walking it alone.